Hey Aquarius, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the 23rd to the 31st. I hope you don't mind, but before we get into things, I just need to make a couple of announcements. Some of you may have noticed the other day, I made a community post regarding somebody claiming to be affiliated with me, and they were luring people from my community to a site that seemed convincing. It seemed like it was me, but it wasn't me. And they were purchasing readings. And I feel really bad that people had this experience, but there are crazy people out there. And apparently it's become a huge thing in this having to do with astrology and tarot. Just know this: I don't have any other social media besides YouTube. I got off of social media in 2015. I don't have any Facebook page. I don't have any Instagram, anything like that. I'm just not I just don't, I'm just not taking part in any of that. I hope you guys understand that. I do have a lot of people reaching out to me, but I'll just be honest with you. I do have a celebrity in my family, and those of you who have celebrity in your family, you know exactly where I'm coming from. It gets weird with people asking for favors and all this stuff. Like it's not me. It's like it's my brother-in-law, right? So I got off social media a long time ago. So it will never be me. So just a little heads up there. The second thing I wanted to mention is that, first of all, I'm sorry I didn't do any October specials for my readings. My schedule was very bananas in October, but I'm running 20% off 3 different readings the month of November. The first one is my extensive birth chart analysis report only. So when you book it, the date that you book, that's to be delivered by. And then the second would be a complete birth chart analysis, an in-depth birth chart analysis with a private video. And that's where I augment and I add information, you know, that I can't possibly include all of that in the report. The reports come in, the hard copy, at around 50 pages. It truly is a book of self. You know, I make them extensive so that you have it, and then no matter what, you have it to refer back to, and it's very good, especially if you want to do some shadow work. And then finally, if you don't know your birth exact birth time, which you would need for those first two, I have an option called the mixed bag, which is tarot only, and it addresses a few areas of your life. Note astrology is included in that, and it's an hour in length, and you know, it is one of my more popular readings. So is my birth chart analysis. So I know a lot of people are getting ready for the holidays and whatever, so if you guys wanted to take advantage of that. So let's get right into the astrology now, my Aquarius friends, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So I'm going to discuss the astrology first, and I'm going to go into a Celtic cross spread, then relationship read, and then I'll pull for those of you in separation. So I have your chart here. This is what I'm looking at. So we have the sun moving into Scorpio on the 23rd, and that's happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, and standing in the world. So we have that happening. Mars is going to be entering in there on the 30th. But before that, Mars is going to be hanging out in your 9th house still, right? In that Libra energy with Mercury. And it's going to be sitting in a square with Pluto in your 12th house. So, well, let's talk about the Scorpio season, first of all, in your 10th house. Let's talk about Scorpio season. It's very intense, very deep. Superficial anything is not going to fly in this energy. Now, the illuminated portion of Scorpio, because we all have an illuminated part of all signs too, right? And then a shadow manifestation. So let's talk about the illuminated manifestation of Scorpio. Scorpio is the energy of the detective, the psychologist, the one who knows how to ask questions, the one who knows how to go in and revamp things and transform, right? It's a very transformative energy. Wherever your Scorpio and Pluto are, either in your natal chart or even transiting, something is meant to change there. Okay, so for you right now, we have this happening in your 10th house, that 10th house of career, public reputation, standing in the world. So there's going to be some very deep analysis that's going on here. Now, the fact that it's the sun is in there, that means there's going to be a lot of focus. Mars moving in there on the 30th is going to make you very assertive. It's a very warrior-like energy. I'm saying assertive instead of aggressive, because I'm asking you to make sure that you don't do anything too aggressive. Be assertive in your career. Be assertive in trying to figure out what you want your long-term plans to be. But because the energy that can come up here is, if you feel like anybody is getting in your way, you're going to want to step on them. You are. You're just going to want to be like, get out of my way. You're inhibiting my ability to perform in the way that I really feel like I should be performing in my career or where it is that I want to go. So you're going to feel very sort of sensitive about that. That's just something that can happen. Now with the sun in Scorpio, while we have that illuminated part, the shadow manifestation is anxiety, is rumination, could be manipulation as well. A lot of manipulative energy could come out if we're not getting our way. So that's just kind of like a to be forewarned, just to be forearmed kind of thing, right? Now let's talk about this square between Mars and Pluto, because this is pretty profound. Mars is in your 9th house in Libra until the 30th, right? So from the 23rd, as far as this week goes, from the 23rd up to the 29th, Mars is still going to be in Libra with Mercury. Mercury's out of retrograde, which is good. Still not out of post shadow, but is out of retrograde. In that 9th house in Libra, Libra's all about fairness. 9th house has to do with your religion, your belief system, your spirituality, higher education, launching a project, publishing, advertising, marketing, the law, right? The law. It has to do with, did I say your in-laws? It's also your in-laws. It's travel. It's foreign land, foreign travel, importing, exporting. So it's all 9th house stuff. So you have Mars in there. Mars is that warrior energy. You're feeling very like fired up, but it's squaring in this tension in your 12th house, having to do with your subconscious mind, the hidden underneath things, where you keep yourself small, where you keep yourself hidden. So there's going to be this face off between feeling very much like you want to exercise your belief system, you want to move yourself forward in your life, but it's going to be this realization where it's going to be like, Aquarius self, why are you keeping yourself small? Why are you allowing this to go on? Why are you allowing this? And it really can be an energy of you getting in your own way, because the 12th house where Pluto is sitting, that house, we call it the house of self-sabotage. It's not only the house of the hidden, it's also the house of self-sabotage. It's where we could get in our own way, where we feel very sacrificial, where we can throw the towel in and say, well, what am I going to, like, I can't do anything about it. No, right? And you might be keeping yourself small, but the Pluto in there is like, no, we need to change. You need to look at this. How are you going to move your life forward in a way that aligns with your belief system? So a lot of you are going to sort of be very front and center with that energy, which I think is really great. I do. It's like there are some, look, squares, nothing but a little tension that's necessary to make some change, because part of the human condition is we love comfort. We do, right? When we're cozy and warm in bed in the morning and the room is a little cold, who wants to get out, right? Nobody, right? We like to be cozy and comfortable. We need that push sometimes to get us to understand and realize things about ourselves. Now, a good thing that I like here is Mercury is going to be sextiling Venus. So Mercury in the 9th house that I just mentioned, is going to be sextiling Venus in your 11th, which has to do with your salary, your goals, your gains, your friends, your 5-year plan. It's more like a shorter, like 5-year, 10-year plan, right? The 10th house is more like long term. 11th house is more like short term. Not that 5 years or 10 years is short term, but you know what I mean. So what I like about this is there's going to be a lot of really good communication between you and friends, you and associates, having ideas about how to push your life forward. This is a really nice energy too, as far as some of you may actually, with Venus in the 11th, some of you may be even communicating with friends right now, where the friendships end up being more than just friends, where you end up transitioning from friendship into a romantic situation, because that sextile is just an easy energy, right? So if you're communicating with somebody, especially those of you who may be in college or your higher education, in that 9th house energy, that would be a very nice energy for you to have. So some of you in college or dealing in higher education might be meeting somebody also, if you're going away on vacation, or if you're dealing with anybody who lives in a foreign land, or who's from a different culture. Really nice energy for communication here as well. Really nice. Venus in the 11th is also sextiling Jupiter in your first. So I'm loving this, because Jupiter in your first is all about you expanding yourself, you expanding your horizons. And with Venus in the 11th, it's you feeling really good ultimately about what it is that you're moving into. But I feel like a lot of you are just going to be changing the way you see yourself as far as where you're going in this next short period of your life. And again, I'm going to say short period, 5-10 year plan, but with that Venus energy, because you're not only looking at money, you're looking at how you feel about being in something, and where is it going? And it's going someplace really, really nice for you, I have to tell you, because this sextile is inciting this growth in the house of self. So people are going to be seeing you differently. People are going to be like seeing your growth. People are going to be recognizing you like Aquarius. Wow, you've changed so much since last year. You're doing so much better. You're doing so much more. Maybe even if you were doing great last year, you're just doing so much more now. So that's really, really positive. And then also Venus in the 11th is going to be squaring Neptune in the 2nd. So you might be in this space where you're questioning whether what it is that you want to do in this 5-year plan, next 10-year plan, whatever you're bringing in as far as your salary, but your goals and your gains, that might be in tension with the money that you are bringing in and your work ethic. So some of you may be like, look, I'm working really hard. Am I getting paid the amount that I'm owed? You might be kind of concerned about your security. You just might be. You might be, because that 2nd house is also sextiling Uranus and Taurus in your 4th house. So you might be in this space where you're very focused on making changes so that you can have a kind of a firmer foundation. And as far as the money that you bring in, right? Again, a square is nothing more than tension that needs to be addressed. Those are the main things that I wanted to talk about, as far as what we're doing right now. So let's go into a Celtic cross spread, and I'll drop the screen down so you guys could see. Okay. No, wasn't feeling that. That was a little shuffle. 2 of Cups, King of Pentacles. Okay. Well, coming into this energy, I see a lot of you working just really hard on something right now, right? This 8 is the number of mastery. It's the Sun and Virgo energy, focusing on responsibilities, in a very diligent and hardworking way, money or connection, you feeling, coming to you as a result of whatever work you were putting in, whatever energy that you were putting in. This is an opportunity here for furthering your education for some of you, or just whatever skill set you have in general. Like in general, there is a need for a very logical and diligent approach here, though. And so this tells me that you're working like very, very hard. 8 is the number of mastery. So you're just really trying to like focus on getting something together there for you. So maybe some of you were just working really hard at your job, or maybe you're going for extra training, extra workshops, whatever the situation is, trying to figure out a different strategy in doing whatever it is that you're doing. Very sort of, doing you, being you, trying to work that out. And then we have the 2 of Cups energy. So Venus and Cancer energy. So very mutually supportive relationship is indicated here. And this is where you're at right now. This can indicate a new passion if you're unattached, but some sort of positive proposal coming in. This could even indicate a new job offer coming in. Or if there's any sort of issue going on at work, you sitting down with the powers that be, ironing it out. Like, let's say, have you had to sit down and talk about your salary? Because some of you may be talking about salary here, keeping it real with this Venus squaring Neptune. Yeah. So could be talking about salary. Maybe you need to change your hours in work, right? It could have to do with that. Those of you who are single, again, you might be meeting somebody new here. Those of you in a relationship, if you've been having any sort of difficulties lately, this indicates harmony returning, right? And you being in this nurturing kind of relationship. But what is the challenge here that's challenging this right now is the King of Pentacles. And this is a very generous and hardworking energy. Wants to be settled in something and all of that, but doesn't have any patience for anyone looking to take what's his. So you want to be careful in the workplace that nobody is trying to like steal your ideas or take credit for things that you did. because that could certainly be a situation that you may be dealing with, particularly if some sort of job offer came in, which challenges like somebody you feel like is trying to steal your ideas or do anything like that. This could also indicate the King of Pentacles is also an energy where things need to change, right? This is somebody who has no patience for anyone looking to take what's his regarding money or regarding trying to change him, right? You're in this space where you're trying to make the most out of what you bring to the table, right? Especially if it has to do with a career or money situation, making the most out of your assets, or you're trying to make the most out of a particular situation, right? But there could be this, maybe strain of money, because there can be an element of greed with the King of Pentacles, but maybe it's because you don't have it. Maybe you're working on something else, right? But this is the challenge here. And this could just also indicate like you're in this space, maybe where you're meeting this new person, but this person has no follow through. They might give a lot of lip service about, yeah, I know we have to do this, or I'm going to do this, whatever. And there's very little follow through. Now, the basis of the situation that's working with the Two of Wands is the Hermit. The Hermit is a Virgo energy. And this is all about problem solving, right? So if you're single, this can indicate you looking at all of the past cycles and various relationships that you've had, looking at the common denominator in each of them so that you don't repeat those same mistakes, so that you can move forward into a relationship that is better suited for you. If you're in a relationship, this is you and your partner realizing that you need to dedicate a lot more time and energy to smooth over any issues that you guys might be dealing with. If it doesn't have anything to do with relationship, this can have to do with your career. And you may be in this space where you're recognizing that you might need a whole new path. You're stepping back and analyzing what's not working. You might feel like it's time to try a different approach to something, right? But you're in a space of deciding, right? Because we have this Two of Wands energy. The Two of Wands is a Mars and Aries energy, and this is all about making plans and moving forward. This is an energy of partnership and you gaining influence in work regarding your particular approach to something. So your spin on something or some sort of special little something that you bring to the table. But there are two aspects to a situation. You have to figure out which is going to best maximize your skill set or bring you the greatest opportunity. If it has to do with career or money. Now, if this has to do with a relationship, this could indicate a new romantic partner coming through here, maybe through work or friends. And we did address the fact that Venus is in the 11th house. That could certainly be indicated there for you. So you may be in that space where you're thinking about everything that you've been through, and you're opening yourself up to meeting somebody. The Two of Wands, if it's that you guys are in a relationship already, there might be something within your relationship that you guys need to make a decision about. So it could be like which house to buy. Should we get married? Shouldn't we? Should we or shouldn't we? Something. And you're trying to figure out what is the best strategy for moving forward. But there is this idea of problem solving in order, that is the ultimate goal. Now, what is the recommended approach for you to look at is the Empress energy, which is Venus. This is all about growth. She's the mother of the tarot. This is all about fertility and, in its truest form. So it can indicate obviously pregnancy, but anything that would end up growing your life, like buying a business or a home or getting married or anything that's going to take your energy and kind of grow it, right? And it's all about expansion. So there is this energy. It's the energy here. The recommended energy is look at growing whatever it is that you're in. What's going to bring you the most growth? What's going to bring you the most growth? What's going to bring you what it is that you want and that you feel very connected to? Now we have the Eight of Cups energy that's external to you. So the Eight of Cups can indicate departure and detachment and walking away from something that you feel. You have the emotional intelligence here. Well, actually, no, it's not you, because this is external to you. Somebody else having the emotional intelligence to recognize that something just simply doesn't feel right. And then walking away with sadness, but no regret. The Nine of Wands indicates here that Now, this could have to do with the job, this can have to do with the relationship, but it really is about recognizing, because this is Saturn and Pisces energy, and Saturn is about restriction, and Pisces in for this card is about your dreams. So you may be recognizing that somebody external to you is limiting you and your ability to actually go after what it is that you want, even though you still have fire in your belly for a person or a situation, right? You're in a strong position here, but you're in the space where you're defending yourself, and you may need to defend yourself right now, and it's okay. You just want to stay balanced. Don't get sucked into that energy of negativity, and you might be having a hard time with this. And it's very interesting because this has come up for several internal challenges. I'm not going to say so, but several. I mean, at least 3 or 4 people struggling with this, right? Where they're just like fed the hell up and they're just so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and sick and tired of like some sort of cycle, right, within something, or feeling like you're going nowhere fast, and you feel like you need to defend yourself. So that is in your internal psychology. So in your near future, I see you going totally into the mental realm, totally air, King of Swords, and you focusing on, your mind and relying on your logic and staying outwardly calm. No emotions here, to take charge of your circumstances and just move away from something that you're identifying as being toxic, right? This is a Mercury and Aquarius energy, moving on. And this could easily manifest more mentally than physically initially, but this is about detachment and a time apart. So at least taking a break from that relationship or from that job and allowing yourself some space to do some internal work. See what other energy we get here. Okay. So we have the Eight of Wands is a great card, right? I mean, this is really good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. This is great if you've been feeling held back or stuck waiting for a decision. Really good. This is really good too if you've been in a relationship and you guys have been separated. Does seem like that. Clarifying that Eight of Wands is the energy of temperance. So a new level of trust, patient cooperation can be had, after a really difficult time period in that personal relationship, in that work situation. You might be dealing with some challenging personalities, but this is about exercising empathy. And through that empathy, there's some cooperation and there's reconciling of whatever this main issue was. So what needed to be tempered was the imbalance here. I mean, so maybe somebody who's nursing an addiction, or somebody was being very selfish, exercising narcissistic tendencies. Maybe you thought somebody was cheating, somebody was being very unfair with some sort of contract, or there was some sort of toxic energy in the workplace, and that needed tempering, right? Because at the end of the day, clarifying the devil, clarifying the need to balance this out, is this idea of being able to grow in a relationship, or being able to grow in that job. This is an energy of growth. 10 of Pentacles is about family for some of you, but it's about maturity, maturing your finances, maturing your position in your job, maturing your position as a family in a relationship. This is deepening of commitment, shared values, share. Whether it's like inheritance, property, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but it's you being able to grow, but you can only grow if this imbalance is tended to, right? And clarifying this happiness here, right, that you're going after is the Hierophant energy, which is the marriage card. Important connection here, important relationship, expectations, the need to conform to something. If this has to do with career or money, this is progression forward in your work, in making some sort of decision that you have to make, some sort of direction that you're thinking about going in. This is where you're at. You're very forward thinking, looking at, okay, if I want that, what's expected? How do I have to conform? A plus B, then C, right? But you might be confused with the Seven of Cups energy, choices and confusion, extremes, commitment issues. You're not sure what you're feeling. You're not sure what's real, what's not. You're at the beginning stages of something, but you're really not sure what it is, but you're going for it, man. Happiness, wishes manifesting. Some of you meeting a new romantic partner. Others of you meeting some really great friends, awesome business connections, excellent for connecting, feeling connected to your own heart, because this is a time for growth. So even though everything is up in the air, you are growing, you are moving forward, but you just might feel a little scared right now because of change, right? I mean, that Seven of Cups energy is Venus and Scorpio, right? You know, Venus is money. It's also how are you feeling about something, and Scorpio is about change. There's change happening, right? So that's what we have for the Celtic cross spread. Now let's pull for those of you in relationship. Let's pull some oracles first. To be fair, tick-tock. Ooh, clocks are ticking. You may feel very pressured by time. Reflect on your truth. Accept disappointments gratefully, gracefully, gratefully. Gratefully and gracefully, right? Talk. Accept disappointments gracefully. Reflect on your truth, to be fair. Page of Pentacles. Ace of Cups. Okay. So where are you right now? This is you, Page of Pentacles. You're very open to a new stage in your life having to do with relationship. Pentacles does not only mean money, it's mental, physical, emotional connection. So for some of you, this is a brand new connection. For others of you, this is a new cycle within a current relationship, but your challenge is the Ace of Cups. So this could be you might feel let down, you might feel disappointed or depressed about something, that's not panning out as far as entering this next cycle of your life within relationship. Now, and then in the recent past, we did have this Temperance energy coming up again about there needing to be empathy and cooperation and really being very clear about what's expected, in a relationship, and trying to reconcile any differences and just trying to connect through empathy. But there's some sort of disappointment where you may have wanted something and it didn't go beyond a certain point. And we have the Empress energy working with the Three of Wands in reverse. This is the basis of the energy. So the Emperor can indicate really wanting to meet somebody who is very much in alignment with your belief system, like your moral code, your moral compass, your personal philosophy, your belief system is very, very important to you. And this is all about you wanting to meet somebody. For those of you who are not in relationship, for those of you who are in a relationship, you've been together for a long time, the Emperor as the basis of the situation means you have to just sit down and speak very pragmatically about the future, about how are things going to go. Now, you're not going to be able to get very specific with the plans, but because that's the Emperor energy, Aries and Mars is the Emperor. You're not going to be able to get very specific with the minutia. It's very hard to do that in a fire energy, where you need an earth energy for that. But there's got to be some sort of communication, right? This is the basis of the situation, because we have the Three of Wands as what's going on right now. And the Three of Wands is delays, right? Setbacks. So there's got to be this communication about how things are going to be moving forward. For those of you in relationship where you're single and you've just been kind of dating, this is you need to find somebody that has a shared belief system. That's like an immovable thing with this energy. So important to you right now. It does seem like. The recommended approach, we have the strength reverse. And this is what you need to look at right now. And the strength reverse indicates like weakness and difficulties with decision making. And you need to look at that. Are you feeling that? With taking a risk of any kind or having any kind of confrontation, right? You might ignore your instincts in the name of safety or ease, but this can end up stunting your growth in this situation, right? So you can end up like overthinking or, struggling with analysis paralysis. So you're better off just facing whatever it is and be grateful for maybe whatever lessons involved in the situation, right? That you have to look at. But you have to pay attention to that, right? Because that is the advice, and the energy that you're dealing with in relationship is the high priestess. So very easily somebody is feeling a lot more than they're actually disclosing. In fact, they could even be harboring some secrets, right? In the external energy. Now, your psychological block is the Page of Wands. Page of Wands it's an energy to express yourself. This is also an energy of, there could be something having to do with intimacy that's challenging you right now. For some of you, you could be in that space. The idea of intimacy or something to do with that can be your psychological challenge right now for many of you. Others of you are just having a really hard time expressing yourself and going after what it is that you really want. But in the near future, we have the moon energy, which does indicate disappointment and confusion and feeling like someone let you down and not really having a whole lot of trust that the relationship is actually going to be able to go the long haul, right? And that could end up pushing you to make a decision ultimately about the relationship one way or the other. But then we have the Four of Swords. And the thing is with the moon energy as well, in numerology, it's the Hermit. The Hermit is Virgo. And so Virgo, it's like, let's sit down and solve this problem. And let's figure out how are we going to be able to devote more time and energy to something that we're trying to work out. So the final outcome card is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands can indicate a new partner opening up their heart and really expressing their love and affection, for those of you who are not like fully partnered. For those of you who are, this is a very nice energy for leveling up the relationship and bringing it into a firmer space. So if you're in this disappointed space with a relationship, tapping into the numerology interpretation of that Virgo Hermit energy, trying to figure out how you can put more energy and intention into solving some sort of issues that are going on, right, in this connection. We have the King of Pentacles, Five of Wands. So right there, just the King of Pentacles and the Five of Wands, there's some sort of discord regarding either somebody being funny with their money or somebody not being able to change off their mark, right? And then, but this could be a point of contention, but then you sit down and you have this very heart-to-heart conversation where feelings are shared, well received, and there's a deepening of connection, clarifying that as the King of Wands. Being a free spirit to sit down and express yourself and go after what you want in a very honest way and not be afraid that you're going to be judged and not be afraid that you need to be perfect or they need to be perfect. It's sitting down and pouring your heart and saying, look, this is how I am. This is how I feel. Clarifying that is a beautiful Ace of Swords. This is about getting over any past obstacles here having to do with relationship. Do you getting what you want and thoughts becoming things? Beautiful. Five of Pentacles is almost like a phony baloney energy. Oh, there's some fear that's going on here. Yeah. So the Emperor is about having a conversation about what's necessary to move forward in any sort of, effective way in the relationship. But there's something about connection here that's an issue. Five of Pentacles in relationship. This has to do with like the pain in the aftermath of a breakup or just not feeling very connected in the relationship and wondering if this is the right thing for you, because we have the Nine of Swords clarifying that, which is about anxiety and depression and not responding well to the external stress because your way out of something really isn't clear. So there's some sort of conflict that's going to end up coming up that you're going to have to settle either within yourself or with somebody else. And you may feel in the moment really unclear how to handle it. And the answer here is to go with your heart. So that is what I have for relationships for this last week. It seemed like there's going to need to be some sort of deep conversation having to do with something like very ninth house, having to do with your belief system, having to do with your religion, your moral code, your moral compass, whatever your personal philosophy is, the way that you're choosing to live your life right now. That's going to be a conversation. It does seem like in relationship for you. So now let's pull for those of you who are in separation. I'll pull 4 across, and then we will pull some tarot, okay? To clarify each one, we'll pull a couple. Your silence feels safer to me. I don't want to get hurt again. Oof. Page of Cups. Four of Cups. I have to be in contact with you again. I miss you too much. Cups, 5 of Swords. Okay, so we have this Page of Cups and the 4 of Cups. It does seem like somebody's blaming somebody else, right? The 4 of Cups energy is always that checklist card. Well, it's not going to work because you do this, this, and this, right? It's that energy of disillusionment and feeling very restless and disappointed and feeling like, you know, is anything ever going to change? Is anything ever going to be any different than it is right now? And we have the 10 of Swords is the bottom card. All right. So yeah, I mean, the Page of Cups is this attempt to have this new cycle in the relationship, but there's a lot of, well, you did this and you did that and you did that. So even though it's like they don't want to get hurt, there is some projection that's going on here, and you guys could be doing it to each other, you know, just being honest. I have to be in contact with you again and miss you too much. And this is definitely somebody who wants to grow with you, the Empress. This has to do with mother, you know, fertility, love, right? Being able to grow in the relationship. The 9 of Wands, there's definitely still some emotions left here. Even though you're tired, you're sick and tired of the cycles, you're feeling very defensive and all of that, and they may be as well. But there is still fire in your belly for this person. I miss your beautiful smile and joyous laugh. They used to light up my world. And then we have the 2 of Cups, which always shows up for me as like a really good conversation, right? Be very supportive of each other, right? And if things have been difficult, which I'm sure they have been, if you're in separation, harmony returning, and you guys being able to have some sort of conversation, but in the conversation, you're realizing that the reality of what is able to manifest in this relationship is not in alignment with what it is that you actually want for yourself in relationship. Is that clash, right, of desire and reality, and that ongoing conflict is not something that you can win because you can't mitigate them. You can only change yourself. And that's the hardest part here. I always look for you at airports as if we'll be at the same place in the world, right? I mean, that's airports, restaurants, right? That's that being on the other side of their every breath kind of energy. But then we have the 7 of Swords, it's being clarified by the Queen of Wands. 7 of Swords is literally about recognizing someone's dishonesty, immoral behavior, running away, someone who oversteps boundaries and is super selfish. And you just sort of climbing into this Queen of Wands energy, which is really about, I mean, very much stepping into your power, ideas popping, you having the strength you need to make things happen, and you having the strength to see things, right? Because that's a 7 of Swords energy, that could be very tricky, but you see right through somebody, and they're not going to be convincing you. And then we have is the bottom of the deck energy. Of course, we have the 10 of Swords, which is a complete and painful ending, something that has a history to it. But the thing here is whatever is over is going to release you from something that's been really difficult. So now you can transform into a healthier energy with fresh eyes and a new mindset. So it does seem like somebody is not going to get over on you here because you see them. So it's not to say that down the road, maybe, because it does seem like they do miss you, but you don't trust them. So even if you got back with them now, it would probably end up back in some sort of cycle, if that makes sense, because it doesn't seem like the trust is 100% here. Anyway, my friends, that is what I have for you right now for this last week of October. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Let's see what next week brings. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care now. Bye-bye.